Josh Hawley. Senator, today the U.S. Secret Service and other officials came out and said that the methodologies that were put in place on Sunday were effective. The shooter did not get the president in his line of sight. He was chased off and he was apprehended. And your response?
Well, I don't know how you can say it's effective when the shooter was able to be there on that golf course for 12 hours, Laura. I mean, this is a course that the president plays on a regular basis, by the way. This isn't like it's some new place that he parachuted into. He lives right next door, and the shooter's there for 12 hours and nobody notices? I mean, what really is going on here? It is of a pattern that we saw dating back to the Butler rally when that shooter was allowed to get on that rooftop. And there was supposed to be law enforcement there, and they weren't. And there was supposed to be law enforcement on that perimeter, and they weren't. So we have a problem here, to say the least. And I think it's time for Secret Service to...
So think about it. He was there for 12 hours. That means they didn't do a perimeter run.
Tell us what is going on, why all of these failings, and what are they going to do about it?
Oh, we hear they have the resources. President Biden had a cordial conversation with President Trump. I actually think it's really good that he reached out. I think he should bring President Trump in, and they really should do a joint appearance to reassure the country, because people are... this happens again, and I said it in the angle, I don't think Humpty Dumpty gets put back together again. I think you're going to just shatter whatever's left of the trust that the people have in the FBI and in the Secret Service. But, Senator, I think it's important for us to remember that the Butler rally questions that this whistleblower and this whistleblower report that just came out raised, those are still outstanding. And some of what you've discovered and brought to light in this whistleblower report is just devastating about why that roof was not secured before the president went out to speak.
The facts are devastating, Laura, and there are no answers to them. This is the problem. The Secret Service, at this remove of 2 months, has still not answered the most basic questions. Why wasn't the roof secured? We know that the site plan called for there to be a security perimeter around that building. There wasn't one. It called for there to be law enforcement on top of the roof. They weren't there. Just like this guy at the perimeter of the golf course for 12 hours. Why didn't Secret Service sweep it beforehand? Did they not have surveillance around the perimeter? It's the same series of questions now repeating itself over again. We still haven't gotten answers from the first time around. And for them now, Secret Service, to be declaring victory, excuse me, but you haven't told us anything about what happened 2 months ago. They are slow walking at best, Laura, at best. Slow walking, if not stonewalling, Congress's request for facts, for documents. They owe the American people an accounting of what happened in July, just like they owe them an accounting of what happened over the weekend.
Well, we don't know whose job it was, right? There must have been one or two individuals whose job it was to secure that roof. And in this whistleblower report, we discover that the issue of the oppressive heat, the temperature in the summer, was a factor in not getting the roof actually monitored and secured. Is that right?
It's absolutely ridiculous. That is indeed what whistleblowers tell me, Laura. What they say is that the plan, the security plan, called for there to be law enforcement on the roof and law enforcement around the building at Butler. There were neither. There was nobody on the roof except for the shooter, and there was nobody around the perimeter of the building. And yes, the excuse was, well, it was awfully hot that day. Well, I mean, so because of that, the former president shot in the face and a good man is dead? I mean, that's the answer?
That's so sad.
Come on, where are the answers here? Why were there not law enforcement there? Why weren't they putting their best people on this detail? We also know from whistleblowers that the lead site agent is someone who was not trusted by other Secret Service agents, who was not highly regarded in the service, and who didn't know what she was doing. Why are these people running security for a former president and a current major party nominee? It's all inexplicable, and the longer we go without real answers, Laura, the worse it gets.
Well, and if DEI is part of what is factoring in here, or is it diversity, check boxes, then that's a real problem. And I think the less we know, the more we can assume the facts are bad for the FBI and the Secret Service. Senator,
I'm telling you this, this is second time within 2 months. A lot of people are afraid. They're like, we're like literally getting so lucky when all this happens. And now you're about to hear Trump because he's fed up with this. Check this out.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications.
Sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me put forth.
They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. And there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately...
If you're hearing the voice in the background, I try to remove it through the software. It's a song I didn't want to get copyrighted on it, so you're going to hear a little bit from it, but it shouldn't be too bad.
False narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will...
Did you just hear that? Like, this is how fed up he is. He literally just said, we're going to go in, we're going to see all the people that have been targeting people, using the government as a weapon, and we're going to hit them with criminal charges, and we're going to get every single one of them. This is like this coming right after he was just the attempted assassination. Read between the lines. What do you think he's saying? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp.
Wow.
Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. Now I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people.
Let's go. I love that. Man, I love term limits. Get the career politician out there. Get away from that. You're not supposed to make a career about it. You're supposed to serve, get out, and go do something else. Like, this is the type of stuff that I love. Clean the swamp. Make things better. This is where we're moving towards a new age for the United States. Because I'm telling you this, if we don't do this, all these deep state, just career politicians who always just get in there, do whatever the heck that they want, we're never going to have a government that's like how it used to be. For the people, where they are there to serve the people, not themselves. I love it. Check this out.
Are you with it? It may have just been that he's been sitting there doing pre-op surveillance for a while and got lucky on the weekend figuring he was going to golf. Folks, I'm leaning towards that not being the explanation anymore at this point. I'm going to tell you why. This guy, I think, was connected to some larger network. And I think there may be some mole here. Ooh, I could be wrong later, but I'm giving you both sides of it. He's not from here. This guy is not from this area. It's really weird that he would come in here and know exactly that spot and have a good vibe that he was not going to be detected in any kind of pre-operation surveillance by the Secret Service. Was he tipped off that he was going to be there?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Is there a state actor involved? Are the Iranians involved somehow? I don't know. But the media, it's their job, and they won't do it, to be asking questions right now. I want you to watch a CNN clip. I know, it's CNN. However, this segment is not terrible. There's a CNN commentator. I know this guy from New York politics well. He's talking about the GoPro camera. Why was this guy looking to record this? Folks, he's basically recording his own crime. Why was he looking to record it?
Did y'all know that there was a GoPro camera out there and he was going to record the entire thing, and then it was going to be uploaded automatically, streamed, so people could see it?
The chat. Who records murders and acts of terror like this? Yes, terrorists for propaganda purposes. Why was this guy recording this? Why do you have ceramic plates up there? How did he get there with this rifle? Nobody saw him? Watch this clip. You'll see what I mean. Check this out.
In the area of the shooting, sources say they recovered a backpack and a semi-automatic rifle. It was described as an AK-47 in the preliminary reporting, and a GoPro camera. The last piece is very interesting because it suggests, if there was such a camera there, that this individual may have wanted to record himself in a first person doing the shooting. So a lot of questions to be answered. Is the suspect, they have the right person? Is that the right car? You know, the weapon that they have has to be processed for evidence and ballistics. If there's video on that camera, if in fact it was recovered as we are told, what will that tell them? But that is what we are seeing right now.
Folks, two-bit criminals with no connections don't record their crimes for evidence later on and give up that easily, okay? It leads me to believe that this guy may have been working with a larger network. And if you're not asking these questions right now, then you're doing it wrong in the media. I want to show you one more reason before we get to, I'm going to take a quick break, but I want to show you one more reason that there is a strong possibility that this guy may be connected to a state actor or some other network of people. This lone gunman thing is getting hard to believe.
Yep.
Both of these shooters found holes, unique holes from a long distance threat in a security plan that should have been locked down. Someone, let me show you what I mean. Put up the Grassley report. Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican, put out this report last week. Folks, the Secret Service has known about a long-range threat coming from the Iranians for a long time. They have known about it for years. A terrorist country. It's right here in the Grassley report. The records he got reveal Iranian-backed plotters discussing potentially targeting American politicians, including Trump and Biden and Haley. A Pakistani native with Iranian ties who the DOJ is charged for his involvement in the scheme provided the evidence in an FBI proffer. A proffer is what we call a king for a day deal. When a bad guy comes in with his lawyer and talks to the FBI, and he's given kind of immunity for what he says as long as he doesn't lie. So there's no reason for him to make it up, or else they can charge him. This guy, according to the leak, this source it was working with people from Iran on a long-range threat.
Ooh.
In other words, a sniper threat. The Secret Service did not have it secured. A guy waltzed in 300 to 500 yards away with a rifle perfectly capable of killing Trump yet again. Why is anybody taking a victory lap? Is this the only show? Asking questions. Why are you putting these? You think these Donald Trump detail guys want to be? You think they want to be killed?
No.
You think they go out there going, hey, someone shoot me today because we can't get freaking assets from headquarters? They are not the bad guys. Let me take a quick break. I warned you about something else, too. I warned you about protection by title, not protection by threat. Unfortunately, right again. The Secret Service can't do the job anymore, folks. Take the DTD guys, start a different entity or put them under a separate DHS branch. Disband, we don't need more government agencies, just disband this one. Put them in a separate EP, Executive Protection Branch, move the PPD, Presidential Protection Division guys over there, get rid of the ones who can't cut it, and get a whole new leadership team. They can't do it. It's over. You've had 2 shots. It's done.